A leaked memo from Shopify's CEO Tobi Lutke just shook the tech world. It's blunt, unapologetic, and crystal clear. Embrace AI or you're out. Now, before we go into the details of the memo, because I value your time, let's take a quick look at what Greg Eisenberg says about it. He's a very famous person in the tech space. He's built internet companies, he has a podcast, and he talks a lot about AI. So check him out if you're interested. Okay, let's take a quick look at the top 10 things Greg Eisenberg got from the memo. Number one, hire an AI before you hire a human. Number two, AI is a baseline expectation at Shopify. Number three, AI agents are now treated like teammates, not tools. Number four, prompting is a core skill. Top performers will be top prompters. Number five, AI usage is now measured. Number six, AI first prototyping is the new standard. Number seven, charts blur. Headcount planning now includes bots, not just bodies. Number eight, AI literacy is the new coding literacy. Number nine, AI is now a core layer in the software stack, not a plugin, not an add-on. And number 10, the memo screams one thing: more impact per person. Shopify is early to this, but he thinks that every major company in the next 12 to 24 months will be hit with this. Okay, so those are the top 10 insights and takeaways from Greg. Now let's take a look at actually what happened. What you can see here is Tobi Lucky's X profile and his post. He adds a bit of context because what actually happened was this was supposed to be a Shopify internal memo, but it got leaked. And so rather than having other people put meaning into it that he didn't intend and have it being taken the wrong way, he just said, well, I know I'm just going to put it out there and provide my own commentary so I can take control of the narrative. He says, we're entering a time where more merchants and entrepreneurs could be created than any other in history. He talks about bringing down the complexity curve, and he's positioning this as allowing more people to choose essentially entrepreneurship as a career. And he's saying having AI alongside the journey and not just doing the consultation, but also doing the work is a mind-blowing step function. And, I agree with this. I talk about AI a lot on this channel. And he talks about basically Shopify's mission, what they're there to do. And he just makes it very clear. Reflexive AI usage is now the baseline expectation at Shopify. What does that mean? I think basically what he's saying is just like regular office workers reflexively use other tools like email, maybe Slack, they should really be using AI reflexively. And like, as I mentioned, I've been talking about using AI every day. If you're not using AI every day, you are going to be falling behind. Now, he says that some people will find this memo puzzling because they're already there, because they already use AI as a thought partner, a researcher, a critic, a tutor, or even a pair programmer. He says, I use it all the time, but I feel that I'm only scratching the surface. It's the most rapid shift to how work is done that I've seen in my career, and I've been pretty clear about my enthusiasm for it. You've heard me talk about it in AI weekly videos, podcasts, town halls, and summit. Well, it's clear that he's gung-ho about AI and he wants his employees to be as well. He even says that last summer he used agents to create his talk. I think this is the talk he presented at their conference. He did this as a call to action, an invitation for everyone to tinker with AI to dispel any skepticism or confusion that it matters at all levels. Now, I think what's happening here, he says many took up the call, but I think he thinks that not enough people took up the call. And this is what this memo is all about. And he says AI is, well, a skill that needs to be carefully learned by using it a lot. I totally agree. You should be using AI every day. It's too unlike everything else. He thinks that asking people to tinker with it was the right call, but it was too much of a suggestion. Maybe he thought it was a soft nudge before. Now he's giving his entire company essentially a hard push. He said basically that we're all lucky to work with colleagues that contribute 10x of what was previously thought possible. But he's saying now essentially that tools have become 10x themselves. And he thinks that with using AI, they can get to 100x of the work done. Wow. I mean, that's pretty lofty. That's pretty ambitious. I do think AI is progressing rapidly. I'm not sure about 100x, but it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what the everyday employees say. It's the CEOs expect this from AI. They expect their employees to be using AI. So every employee should get these AI skills ASAP. He said Shopify was a Red Queen race in his leadership memo. And the Red Queen race is a story from Alice in Wonderland where they run just to stay in the same place. And he's saying basically if they're going 20 to 40% year over year, they got to improve by at least that much every year. But what essentially he's saying is that given the nature of the tools, he's talking about AI here, it doesn't even sound terribly ambitious anymore. And he's saying it's the kind of environment that top performers want. There's rapid progress, there's rapid change, there's rapid learning, people who are on the journey of personal growth, tackling hard problems. And he says this is what Shopify was created to provide. It's an opportunity and a requirement to connect their core values of the company of being a constant learner and thrive on change. And he's basically saying these are not aspirational anymore, or maybe they were never aspirational. These are fundamental expectations. And when people say these are fundamental expectations, it pretty much means if you're not meeting those expectations, you don't belong in the company. He said that comes with being part of this world class team. That's what the founders wanted, and that's what we built. So now he talks about what this actually means for everyday employees. Using AI effectively is now a fundamental expectation of everyone at Shopify. It's a tool of all trades, and it'll only grow in importance. And well, he's kind of providing a little bit of an out here for people who don't want to use AI or don't think about AI, don't believe in using AI. He says, I don't think it's feasible to opt out of learning the skill of applying AI in your craft. You're welcome to try, but I want to be honest, I cannot see it working out today and definitely not tomorrow. To me, this is pretty clear. I mean, he's not saying directly you're fired. Maybe my video and title is a bit of an overreach, but I think when the CEO says this, it pretty much means you're fired. Then he says AI must be part of your GSD prototype phase. So the prototype phase of any project should be dominated by AI exploration. And I use AI a lot, and I see this. AI is a great way to explore ideas. He says with AI, you can essentially learn to produce something that other teammates can look at, use, and reason about in a fraction of the time it used to take. And at the end of this video, I'll actually show you a bit of the sausage made and how I used AI to help me make this video to help quickly churn through ideas, think through things, and how AI can potentially help you as well. Okay, then he says, we will add AI usage questions to our performance and peer review questionnaire as well. He thinks that a lot of people give up after writing a prompt and they're not getting an ideal output immediately. But learning to prompt and load context is important. And basically, what he's saying is, as part of people's annual performance reviews, they're going to gauge how much employees are using AI. And if you're not using AI, you're probably going to get a bad performance review. Then he says learning is self directed, but share what you learned. So he talks about how they've had these AI tools in the company, including things like Copilot, Cursor, Claude Code, pre-tooled and ready to go. These are all tools that coders use to help them generate code, help them write code. So there's this whole concept of vibe coding now, where you kind of tell the AI what code you wanted to or what you wanted to produce, and it produces the code for you. In fact, I hear these days, even in entry level coder interviews, what interviewers are asking is, well, how do you use AI to get the job done today? So you have to basically answer the interviewer about how you would use AI in your workflow to become much, much more productive as a software engineer or a coder. Number 5, he says, before asking for more headcount and resources, teams must demonstrate why they cannot get what they want done using AI. I think the point here is AI first. Only if AI cannot do the job, then they will look at hiring extra headcount. And number 6, he says, everyone means everyone. This applies to all of us, including me and the executive team. Okay, then he says AI will totally change Shopify, our work, and the rest of our lives. We're all in on this. I couldn't think of a better place to be part of this truly unprecedented change than being here. You don't just get a front row seat, but are surrounded by a whole company learning and pushing things forward together. Our job is to figure out what entrepreneurship looks like in a world where AI is universally available. And I intend for us to do the best possible job of that. And to do that, I need everyone's help. I already laid out a lot of the AI projects in the themes this year. Our roadmap is clear. We need to succeed in our collective sum total skill and ambition at applying our craft, multiplied by AI for the benefit of our merchant. Well, so there you have it. This is the CEO of Shopify, a very serious call to action. He's putting his entire company on notice that they have to use AI. They're going to be judged on their use of AI. Essentially, Shopify is becoming an AI first company, and they feel that they need to do this to stay ahead. I've been talking about AI before in this channel. I talked about how AI is going to change everything. watch the video that should pop up if you want to see that. And I totally agree. I think if you're not using AI today, you're going to be at a very, very serious competitive disadvantage. Okay, well, I have a quick request. If you're getting value from this video, please hit the like and subscribe button to help us reach more people. Now, let me tell you how I myself used AI to help me create this video as a case study. Okay, so here you can see I'm using ChatGPT, the 4.0 model, and I give it a very simple prompt. After I saw the post on X, I thought it would be good to make a video on the post by the Shopify CEO. So I simply said, I want you to make a YouTube video for my channel. I basically gave it the URL, the site for the X post. And then I said, hey, come up with some interesting titles. And it gave me a series of 5 titles. The first one is AI is moving too fast. Employees who don't adapt will be left behind. You can see there's several good options here. One thing I will say is that AI is great and it's evolving rapidly, but I still feel it doesn't quite get past where the top people in a particular industry or niche would be. So while I thought a lot of these titles were fine, I thought it just didn't have quite what I was looking for personally. So I suggested a couple of titles of my own. I asked about this one: Shopify CEO leak, use AI or you're fired, or simply Shopify CEO leak, hire AI, not humans. And you can see that, well, it actually likes these ideas and tells me what's good about them, what's bad about them. Now, sometimes I'm not sure how much of this would be overreaching because, the CEO doesn't actually say you're fired, even though for all intents and purposes, I think he means it. It's just very hard to fit a lot of words on a thumbnail, for example. But what do you think? Do you think the AI suggestions were better than mine? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe next time I'll just use the AI suggestions. Not only that, but it also takes my input and provided some other suggestions. I combined what it suggested at first and my idea. So this is one really good way of using AI where you can use it as a sounding board. You can use it as an expert. Don't rely on it 100%. But the way I use it to bounce off ideas and say, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And in most cases, it gives you very intelligent replies. But you'll notice that in all of the suggestions, it still didn't capture what I wanted to capture in the title, which was that the memo was originally leaked. So I basically just prompted to see if we could work it in. And voila, here are the leaked, and voila, here are the updates. The first one being leaked Shopify memo, use AI or you're fired. This is close enough to what I had originally, but I think it's good validation that I thought the title is a good one. Now, one thing folks should know with ChatGPT 4.0, the new model, is actually very good at graphics. And if you watch one of my previous videos, I did mention that I use ChatGPT more for text, more for writing. Now, in my previous video, when I talked about AI, I did say I don't use ChatGPT as much for graphics, but in the latest update, and remember, AI is evolving fast. So I suggest you follow people you trust to stay on top of it, as I mentioned in my previous video. And I'm going to be periodically making updates on how I see AI and how it applies to everyday employees. So if you like the content, subscribe to my channel. Shameless plug there. But the graphics capabilities of ChatGPT, the new model, are really good. So I thought I'd try it. I said, hey, just generate the most clickable YouTube video thumbnail in 16 by 9 format for this video. I wanted the Shopify logo. I wanted the Shopify CEO's face. In the past, ChatGPT would not put in faces of recognizable people, but because of how fast things have changed, now it allows you to do that as well. And you can see it came up with this really nice graphic in just a minute or so. Now, I'm not a graphic designer. And when I look at this, I think it's really good. There are some issues with this, of course, because the left-hand side is a little chopped off. So it's not perfect. And that's often the case with AI these days. It's really good, but it's not still like a 100% replacement. So, well, I tried to get it to fix that. So I said, well, this is good, but the logo is cut off on the left. Move it a bit more to the right so everything's clearly visible. Well, it kind of just gave me the same thing over again. I tried one more time. I still said the text is cut off on the left. Move it to the right. Nothing. So finally, I had an idea to kind of shake up the system a little bit and force it to make a change. I said, put the CEO on the left side and the logo on the right side, and voila, this is one of the images for my thumbnail. Now, generally, I use Canva for my thumbnail, so I imported this image generated by ChatGPT into Canva, made a few tweaks, and I said, well, let me see what I could do based on this inspiration. So, I'm not a graphic designer, so it took me quite a while to come up with this one, but I thought it'd be a really interesting test to try out both thumbnails as part of a thumbnail test. So YouTube has the ability to test two or three thumbnails. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use both of these. If you refresh your browser or you refresh the video in your browser, you should actually see periodically the thumbnail change automatically from one to the other. So you tell me, which one do you like better? Do you like this one that I created, which was actually inspired by ChatGPT's image, or do you like the original ChatGPT version better? Put your thoughts in the comment. I'm really eager to hear what you all think after after looking at both of them. Okay, so while this one that was automatically generated by ChatGPT took me about a minute or two to do, this one that I spent time working on, and remember, this was after I got the inspiration from ChatGPT and creating a good thumbnail. You can see that I'm not a graphic designer. If you look at some of my earlier videos, for example, hopefully they're getting better, but they started out pretty rough. And this probably took me maybe 40 minutes, getting an image, removing the background, figuring out the fonts, the spacing, the design, the colors. What do you think? What's the difference between these two? Is it worth spending an extra 45 minutes? And this is after making several videos and thumbnails. So I'm not a newbie, but I'm not a graphic expert as well. Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to check back in 3 weeks. I will post the winner according to YouTube, which will tell me which one actually got the most clicks. So that's a quick overview of how I use AI to become much more productive. I don't use AI to replace everything. Like I said, AI is great, it makes you more productive. But right now, at least, you still have to manage things fairly carefully. Now, if you're wondering whether this voice is AI, the answer is no. This is actually my real voice. I don't use AI voices for these types of videos, but I do use them for some kinds of videos, like, for example, the whiteboard video on my channel. But even for that, I actually used AI to help me generate the Python script to leverage OpenAI's voice API to generate the voice. And you can see here is actually the Python script that I use to generate the OpenAI voice. And this script was generated for me by ChatGPT. Okay, well, that's all we have time for today. So until next time, stay savvy, my friends.